can edit whatever I want out, right? Thank you. Sorry. All right. Well, my name is Thomas. My name is Thomas. Starting a new channel today. First time ever. Gonna put myself out there. Want to give a shout out first off to Powerful JRE, Ty Lopez, and Gary Vaynerchuk, all three very big influences. Yeah, so who knows what this channel will become. Who knows where it'll go. I also have a blog, so I'll link that at the bottom. Yeah, a little about me. I'm really into health. I do my best to live the lifestyle. Always reading up on cool, fascinating stuff, or at least stuff that I find fascinating. Really enjoy the guitar, so see those right over there. That's pretty much it. Trying to get more involved in just life in general, mostly. I've always kind of not gotten too involved with life. Kind of hung out on the sidelines in high school, the whole thing so far. So maybe it'd be good. Maybe it would be lucrative for me to really get out there and start putting myself out there. Sorry about the pen. First podcast, or first, vlog, if you will. Anyway, the goal of this endeavor is the pursuit of knowledge, to perpetuate knowledge. I really like doing research, so my goal is to extend that to people who will listen. There's a lot of stuff out there that people just simply don't know about. And in my domain, that's a lot of health information. So if I can make it easily accessible and easy to understand, that's the goal. So hopefully there's something I can offer there. Hopefully, people start tuning in. Maybe I have something to share, maybe not. And this isn't always going to relate around health. There's lots of cool things to talk about. The world's a big place. But anyway, to close off this first one, maybe we'll start with a fun fact. So, fun fact is, did you know that there are about 10 times more microbes in your body than there are cells? So you are more microbe than you are you. So on a fundamental level, I'm talking single-celled organisms, and they're on your skin, in your gut, largely in your gut. And also on top of that, there's 90%, I think it is, 90% of the serotonin in your body is located in your gut. Now, serotonin in your brain, you have SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and those are for depression. People take them, and sometimes they work. Sometimes people have miraculous results from them. Other times, they're dose dependent. So you have to keep upping the dose, because it's, if you take something away from your body, okay, and replace it with something else that does its job for it, in some sense, it loses its capacity to do the job by itself. So if you take a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor that modulates the serotonin, over time, your body isn't going to modulate the serotonin for you. Now, granted, you may have been having issues with that prior, but there's a chance that something like that is going to make it worse, because at the end of the day, you're going to need more serotonin in your system to maintain the same level of functionality. And that's a spiral. But they work for people especially if you need just that little kick to kind of put things into motion, if you will. And back to the microbes here. So there's 90% of the serotonin located in your gut. Now, what that means for you is there's a lot of stuff going on. When you eat food, what you put in your body, those microbes are able to metabolize it into other things, other chemicals that you yourself cannot metabolize into. And those micromolecules sometimes have really incredible properties. A really great example is sulforaphane from broccoli. Now, sulforaphane from broccoli is really cool because it's an oxidant. And people when they think oxidation, they're like, bad, stress. Well, yes, there is stress, but here's the kicker. Sulforaphane acts as an oxidant on a very specific part of your body, and it's in your genome. It's a gene pathway called NRF2. Now, NRF2 is a gene pathway of particular significance because when it's activated, your body starts manufacturing proteins and enzymes. And when you boil it down, these enzymes are responsible for mainly two things. Getting rid of things that are terminally broken and fixing things that are fixable throughout your body. Now, this is not the only way NRF2 can be activated. You can activate it in many different ways. The sauna, exercise, cold therapy, anything that puts stress on your body in a good way. Now, people like to think of stress as all bad, wholly bad. No, that is not the case. In fact, maintaining a certain level of the right amount of stressors on your body at all times allows your body to continuously improve. So that's pretty much that. I mean, running, that's why exercise is good. Now what this is called hormesis, right? So hormesis is when you do something that damages you, but the mechanisms that are activated in response to that damage are good for you. So the best example of this is exercise, period. So when you exercise, you rip apart your muscles, but all the responses that your body goes through to compensate for that are super healthy. Your arterial walls get stronger, blood flow, heart strength, muscle strength, all of these things, neurotransmitters even, right? So, there's this huge cycle about all of these things that as it relates to your body. Now, how we project ourselves in the environment, that's a whole nother issue. Because first we have to gain mastery over ourselves so that our bodies are functioning optimally. Once that's achieved, you can put yourself in a position where, you can lift others. Because that's the goal, we're all humans. We all have the same fundamental goals, I would hope, I went on a tangent there. Back to the fun fact of the serotonin in your gut. So, essentially, when you eat sugary foods, what you do is you give bacteria energy molecules. That's what glucose is, fundamentally. But the thing is this, it's that sugar is how to say this, apart from it being poison, it is almost like if you took nitrous oxide and mixed it with coal. Okay, so you have this boost of energy, and it's good, but it gives off byproducts that are just bad. Sugar, if it's the primary source of energy, you know, when you ingest it and microbes get to it, which for the record is hard, you have to eat a ton of sugar. But if they get to it, you're talking, you know, candida, C. diff. C. diff is a bacterial overgrowth. Same with candida, right? Yeast infections, stuff like that. Yeast in general. All of those feed off of sugar. So you see, you eat sugar, you do that perpetually, you end up giving your body, your microbes that feed on sugar, the ability to proliferate. Now, here's where it gets really crazy. It's that those microbes, since most of the serotonin is in your gut, are able to influence your brain. Okay, so there's this nerve called the vagus nerve. It runs from your gut to your brain. It's like a hardline connection. So there's like the hardline connection between Russia and the United States back in the Cold War era. Ran underneath the ocean so we could pick up the phone and get to Russia. That's your microbiome to your brain. Okay, now if you allow all of these microbes that enjoy sugar to proliferate, you construct a microbiome, okay, that directly reflects your choices. And when you do that, it starts to affect your brain. So you eat sugary foods, cycle perpetuates itself. Microbes grow that enjoy sugary foods. They tell your body that you're craving sugary foods. And that's where it starts. Now you have all these crazy cravings for all this unhealthy stuff and you can't help yourself. That's your microbiome. That's how it works. It's a symbiotic relationship, and it's dependent on you. And you can shape that. You can change it. And there's a whole host of things that almost everything that you do changes it. Okay? If you go on exercising, there's evidence that that changes it. You eat sugary foods, obviously, you know? All of these things. It's a huge cycle. And you have to start somewhere. So if you're trying to turn around your life, if you're trying to get back to the basics, you can do that. Now, you can do it cold turkey. I'm a fan. I like trial by fire. I do. I think it's one of the more empowering ways, because if you complete the trial by fire, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good feeling. It's like, holy crap, I just knocked that out. But there's other ways. You can wean yourself off. That's a very effective way. The problem is, you know, a lot of people like to make the joke about millennials. I'm a millennial. A lot of people make the joke, they want it now. We want it now. You know, and things take time. Period. They take time. So even if you go cold turkey, it still takes time for your body to adapt to that. And a lot of times what you get, here's a good example, if you cut carbohydrates completely out of your diet, this is what's commonly referred to as the ketogenic diet. More on that later. But you do that, if you go cold turkey, you will have carbohydrate withdrawals. Almost certainly. Almost certainly will have carbohydrate. And it's gonna manifest itself as muscle weakness, and mental cloudiness a lot of the time. That's what it is. And that only lasts about 3 days. Here's the worst part is if you decide, oh, well, maybe I should introduce a little bit more carbohydrates to kind of counteract that so I don't feel so shitty, you're going to make yourself feel more shitty. You're gonna make that cycle last longer. Instead of your body being able to transition, now it's confused. So don't confuse your body. It's the main thing. Don't do that. Final point about the microbes, because that's where we started, right? final point is that they are not just willy-nilly in your gut. It's not a dog-eat-dog world, necessarily. It's not just like competition, all-out war. No. As it turns out, those something like 10 to the 12th microbes in your body are highly organized. Think about that. They are extremely well organized and know what they're doing. That's crazy. So in your gut, you have trillions of microbes, and they are all organized in a very specific way. I mean, according to your lifestyle, right? They all have their own little niche, but they all do different things. They all create different chemicals based on, among other things, what you eat. That's its food. So what you're eating has a direct impact on what they produce for you. So full circle here, you eat crappy food. You make yourself want more crappy food. Your serotonin levels drop. Now you're mildly depressed. So you don't get more sun. Don't get any sun. You don't exercise. You don't go outside. You get sucked in. You unfocused. So now you're staying up late. Okay. Fast forward 4 years. Now you've completely lost control. And now that cold turkey or weaning down is profoundly more difficult, because not only is it just the mere challenge of weaning down and going cold turkey, now you have to compete with one of the, if not the most formidable force in your life, your own mind. You have to get past that. That's tough. If you're in the trenches, now there's a lot of ways to figure that out, right? Among them is absolutely, unequivocally, eating better. That's like one of the simplest things you can do every day, just FYI. But if you're in the trenches, that's tough. The good news is there are resources, there are people, there are support groups, and it is up to you, again, to reach out. The main thing here is that, number one, everything is connected to a greater degree than we generally give credence to. And secondly, everything starts with you and me and Sally down the street. I don't know if Sally lives down the street. It all starts with ourselves. Every situation. And this is something I used to say a little while ago. You know, even if someone comes up to you and decks you in the face for no good reason, hits you in the face, okay? How you react to that, which generally people would probably get mad and punch the guy in the face and fight, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, your reaction to that is going to dictate where the situation goes. And that's how it is for every single situation in your life. Every single one. You want to make more friends? You have to go talk to people. You want people to come together in a room? You got to be the person to bring them together. That's daunting, right? It is daunting. It's daunting. Especially if you're introverted. It's almost impossible. But it starts with you. And I mean, there's no good or bad choice. There's just choices. So I guess that's where introspection comes into play, really. Who are you? Who am I? Where do we go from there? You know, sometimes I go out and, read motivational stuff. But there's a central idea. And it's about just figuring out who you are and then acting that out, but being concrete in the person you are. Not shifting. That's hard. Because so many times there's factors that get in the way. Something changes, something small, but it has an impact. And you think, maybe I should behave a little bit differently. Maybe that doesn't even cross your mind. Maybe you just do it automatically. But it's being able to harness that control. Being able to know, no. I need to do that for me, for the people around me. Got to go out and be the most you that you can be. But with that said, that doesn't mean being closed-minded. And that doesn't mean grasping onto a certain set of parameters and strangling it to death, Unless that really is who you are, which is fine. But the bottom line is, if you're able to know what you are, and then be like a neuron. Put out a bunch of dendrites, okay? And be able to take in a bunch of different information and decide what information you put back out through you. You're the cell in this analogy. And you can change. You can change where that information goes, just like an axon in a neuron. You can change where that information goes. You can take that information and get that output. So that's episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter @StoicThomas. This is my first video. So I guess the way this works is comment below stuff I can improve on. Maybe, I really enjoy doing research. It is something I thoroughly enjoy. So if there's something that you want to know about, let me know in the comments. And I will figure it out and, try to give you a breakdown. Maybe pull in whatever ideas come to my mind. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's it for this episode of... I don't know what the name should be yet. I have a blog called Thomas Thoughts. I think I'll stick with that. See you next time on Thomas Thoughts.